Hi everyone, I hope I am audible. So the topic for today is the adrenal glands from the endocrine system. Okay, so you have a chapter called as the endocrine glands. Okay, so from there we are only discussing about the adrenal glands today. Let me just, okay, 1 second. Okay, yes, I am audible. So yes, before I start, let me introduce myself. I am Vani Kari, biology educator at Unacademy. I am an engineer with bachelor's and master's degree in biotechnology and a B.Ed degree. Also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. So you can join with us in Telegram. So for homework and class notes, you can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10. Okay. So Telegram channel, so this is of Unacademy ICSE and ISC both. So this link you will find in the description box. Okay. So other than that, 1 second. Okay, so we are conducting free special classes on Unacademy platform. So all you need to do is download the Unacademy Learners app, and you can attend these classes. So these are absolutely free. Okay, so you can experience like how exactly our plus classes will happen in Unacademy platform. So this one over here, so the features are basically live real-time interaction using the chat and the emojis. Okay, so basically we are conducting a poll war also. Okay, so there is the option of chat also, you have option of emojis also, so you can interact with the educator here. You can interact, so if a discussion session is going on, so you can, or you all can interact them. So ask questions using the question tab. So since there are a lot of comments keep on coming, okay, so your question might get lost by the time educator might have seen. So there is a question tab option which is available for you all. Okay, so you can type in your question here, or you can attach an image and you can send it to the educator during a live class itself, and they'll be clearing your doubts. Okay, so basically they'll be getting a notification where a learner has asked the doubt, so they'll be getting your notification and they'll be clearing your doubt. And also we are conducting a quiz, so that we call a poll war as well. Okay, so we will be having the question and options on a slide, and then the poll will be there for you all. So you will be getting options like A, B, C, D, and you need to choose the answer which is correct. So basically quiz we are going to conduct, then poll, leaderboard. Okay, so after the quiz is over, so for each and every question we will be sharing the leaderboard, but at the end, so you can know your rank, like whether you are first or second or third rank, so which rank you have secured, so that you will be knowing. So this is, so this will allow you to compete with your friends as well. Okay, so Unacademy subscription features. So subscription features with respect to the classes that we conduct on Unacademy, that is for plus classes, so you can learn live from the comfort of your home. Okay, so unlimited access to all the courses. Different educators will have a different courses related to the topics or the chapters that they are taking. Okay, so you will have access to all the courses which are conducted by the educators, and the top educators of India are going to take the classes in one platform, so that is Unacademy platform. So there is a regular doubt clearing session. 1 second. So there is a regular doubt clearing session which will be conducted, that is about after every 3 sessions. So we will be conducting a 4th session. Okay, so this 4th session which is called as a doubt clearing session. So here you can clear your doubts related to the topics that are previously covered in these 3 sessions. Okay, so if you do not have any doubts, so we will be revising also, or we will be conducting a poll war again. Okay, so it is gonna, like the topics which are already covered, so it will be a practice for you all here. Okay, so then complete coverage of a syllabus will be done, the mentorship and guidance is given, the study material is given here, so that is mainly in the PDF format, the practice tests are given, live test series, batch courses. So we have different batches. Now if for example ICSE class 9 and 10, if I'm talking, okay, so there so you can find champions batch, Udan batch, mavericks batch, so different batches are there. So you will have access to all of these batches, okay. And then there is daily practice section, weekly mock test series, live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series. So you can have benefit of all this. So basically you are getting you will get used to all of this. So there are practice sessions which are conducted on a daily basis as well. So you will have access to all of this if you are taking a plus subscription on Unacademy platform. So there, let's say since you are like, let's say you are in class 10 now, so if you want to try like how exactly this works, so you can go for 3 months of subscription, or let's say you want to complete your class 11 and 12 also, maybe you can go for any of these months of subscription based on your convenience, okay. So here again, so when you are going for a subscription, so don't forget to use the referral code, that is Vani YT. So only with the code you will be getting 10% off, okay. So only with the code. So this is my name, Vani, okay. YT is for YouTube. So with the code you will be getting 10% discount on your plus subscription, okay. And also we have a mega offer for you. So this offer is for plus subscribers, okay. So let's say you are buying a 12 months of subscription. So this is for all class 9, 10, 11 and 12, okay. So let's say you are buying a subscription of 12 months or more, okay. So here you will be getting extra 2 months of subscription, okay. So that is the extension. So let's say you are buying a 12 months of subscription. So basically you are getting 14 months of subscription here. So with flat 10% discount, that is with the referral code Vani YT, okay. So this referral code will bring you a 10% discount on purchasing a plus subscription of any duration again, and this is valid for first 500 subscribers only, okay. So hurry up and subscribe now for the plus on Unacademy. So you can also get in touch with your counselor. So let's say you have any queries related to the subscription, or so you are confused about the preparation journey. So we are also conducting the preparation, like how you can prepare. So we have this session, so recordings you can watch here. So these were absolutely free, so you can join in that session. So where dual sessions are conducted, where educators have discussed about the preparation journey, the time management and answer writing hacks and all are discussed. So you can watch the recordings which are available. So any queries you have about the subscription, or if you want to know about the latest offer, so you are just one call away. So you can contact on this number, and if you are planning to take a subscription, so don't forget to use a referral code Vani YT to get a 10% off, okay. So introduction related to the adrenal gland. So this is a gland, okay. So basically the endocrine gland, which is responsible for secretion of a hormone, and so these hormones are having a very specific role in our body. So they are going to help you perform they'll prepare your body for most of the actions, we can say, okay. So let's see about this one, endocrine gland, okay. So endocrine glands are the glands which secrete hormones. So always the hormone secretion that occurs, okay. So hormones are secreted always by a ductless gland, okay, that is a endocrine gland. So exocrine glands will secrete their secretion through a duct, whereas endocrine glands, when we mention, so these are the ductless gland. That means their secretion, that is hormones, are directly secreted into the blood itself, okay. So basically the hormones are directly released into the blood by a endocrine gland. So this is basically basically the hormones are extremely important. So why are they important? That is for the regulation of body activities. So different activities are performed. So let's say I'll take an example now. So mother is pregnant, okay, a woman is pregnant, so delivery has to happen, okay. So how do you think that the mother or the fetal delivery has to occur after a 9 month itself? 9 month will be the fetus is in the womb, that is in the mother's womb for 9 months, and exactly after 9 months, so there is actually delivery. So slighter variation will be there depending on their hormone. So again, when we mention hormones itself are the ones which are going to regulate those activities. Now on a regular basis, in case of a woman itself, I'll take an example. So menstrual cycle, okay, so there also on 28 days cycle we have, okay. So exactly again a variation is there depending on a type of extent, or maybe we can say depending on the hormone production. So there is a variation. So some of them it can be 1.5 months, or some of them it can be 28 days. So there is a variation, but again exactly after a fixed period of days, so one would go under a menstrual cycle, okay. So this is again happening because of the hormones which are mainly playing a role there, okay. So here when we mention, so these hormones are directly secreted into the blood, okay, that is without any duct. So let's say this is a gland now, okay. So this one is a gland which is responsible for secretion of a hormone, okay. So this is going to secrete a hormone. There is a blood vessel. So now these hormones will directly take a entry into the blood vessel, okay, and through the blood vessel, so they will be reaching the target organ. Okay, so now with respect to MC, if I'm talking, that is menstrual cycle. So there are FSH, follicle stimulating hormones are required, that is to develop the ovum in your ovaries. So there is a ovary in your uteral part, the abdominal region. So there is a ovary which is present, okay. So that is attached with the uterus, so by a fallopian tube. So this ovary is responsible for the egg production, okay. So here in this case, when we say that the egg production is occurring, so this is mainly occurring because of the hormones that are playing a role. So now this blood secreted, so now this FSH which is directly released into the blood, and through the blood this is gonna reach a ovary, and ovary will start synthesizing the ovum, okay, that is the egg. So here this way all these hormone secretion will occur, and they are going to regulate the many of the body activities. So the full set of endocrine glands in the body, okay. So this will include the numerous glands, okay, but in syllabus they have specified only some of them. So there are many of them, okay, so only some of them are mentioned. And today's class I am going to discuss about the adrenal glands, okay. So they are anyway not discussing all the glands, okay. So some of the important glands are discussed here. So let's get started with the adrenal glands, okay. So I hope you are all understanding. One second. Okay, so here the adrenal glands are like caps. So you can see here, this one is a cap like structure what you find, okay. So this is a cap like structure above the kidney. So now here as you can see, so this one over here is the kidney. So let me just change the color, okay, just a second. So now what you find here, so this one is actually a kidney over there, okay. So on to this kidney, so you see this cap like structure which is there, okay. So this cap like structure itself is the adrenal gland. So on the left kidney also, so let's say there is a right side kidney. So this one is a left kidney, and here this one is the right side kidney. So on the right side kidney also we can find this cap like structure. So these two what are there? So these are the adrenal glands. Okay, and adrenal gland is divided into two regions. So like in every we are studying about the brain, then we are studying about the kidney, we are also studying about the spinal cord. So everywhere you find there is a division, right? So let's say we are talking about a kidney itself. So longitudinal section of a kidney when we take, okay, so let's say this is a kidney. Now transverse section is this one. If I make a cut like this, so this will give us a transverse section. If I make a cut like this, so this is a longitudinal section. So now the cut has been made in this way through the kidney. So you can find the cortex region there. Okay, so this one is the cortex region, the outer region. What is that? Okay, and here in the center, so you will find a medulla region. So same way with respect to brain, always the cortex when we mention, so this is the outer region. Okay, and medulla region when we mention, so this is the inner center region, or we can just say inner region, or it can be in the center also. So here the adrenal gland, okay, so adrenal glands are like caps above the kidneys. So this is the location. So this is very important. Your books, your board exam, when they ask, so they will ask you the exact location. Okay, so you need to write the exact location, then you are going to get full marks here. Okay, so full marks with respect to the location, because so they expect you to write the exact location, and that is why the question also is given as the exact location itself. Okay, so that is why when you write a location, write the one which is given in your textbook, not your own sentence. So your own sentences are not at all accepted by the board evaluation. So I have undergone a evaluation training for your ICSE board exam. Okay, so they expect you to write the exact same sentence which is given there. So adrenal glands are like a caps above the kidneys. Okay, so each adrenal gland will have two parts. So that we saw a central medulla region. So in the center on the inner side, or we can say central region, so there is a medulla region, and on the outer side, so that is at the periphery. Okay, so peripheral region is the cortex. So now here you can see position of the adrenal gland is given, and its two parts in cross section. So now they have given a cross section in which a respective hormones are secreted. So this one is with respect to the red one, what you find here. Okay, so this is gonna give us the medulla region. Okay, so this is a medulla region, and this part what you find, so this is a cortex region. So cortex is always at the periphery. Okay, that is on the outside. Medulla is always in the center, or on the inner side. Okay, so cortex will secrete a corticoid hormones, medulla will secrete a adrenaline hormone. Okay, so we will see this one. Okay, so adrenal medulla, so we will start with the medullary region which is there in the center. Okay, so we will find the central region of this adrenal gland, so that we call as the medulla. Okay, so this is responsible for adrenaline. So this is again a question for you now. So adrenal medulla secretes which hormone? So you need to know the hormone name, hormone function, what is it responsible for, like when is it mainly having a role play. Okay, so now all of this, now this one when we mention about the adrenaline, so this can also be called as the epinephrine and noradrenaline also. So depending on, again, so you need to remember all the other names. So noradrenaline or epinephrine also can be called here. Okay, so adrenaline is basically a hormone itself which prepares the body to meet any emergency situation, for fight, that is to face a danger, or for flight, that is to run away from it. Okay, so now here if we have to take an example, so let's say you face a dangerous animal. Let's say you are facing a tiger. Okay, so somehow you have got into a trap now, so where there is a tiger. Okay, so now your body will make sure that anyway, so there is one thing is either flight can be done, that is run away. Okay, so for running away, the energy supply which is required, a huge amount of energy is required. So adrenaline is released as soon as you look at the what is it, tiger, because that is a stimulus. So stimulus is, so when we mention with respect to endocrine glands, okay, so always the endocrine glands and the nervous system, so they are the controlling mechanism, these are the controlling systems in our body, so they will work together. So now the stimulus here is a tiger. Okay, so tiger is actually a stimulus, that means an external agent which is bringing a response in your body. So this is going where? So this is going, so stimulus is received by your eye receptors. So receptors in your eyes are going to receive this stimulus, that there is a tiger. Okay, so now what will happen? So through sensory neuron, the message is sent to the brain. Okay, so that is through the sensory neuron, and then the brain is going to receive a signal. So brain will make sure that is through the motor neuron there is a production. So this motor neuron is going to send a message to the effector. Okay, so that is mainly the muscles for running action or maybe for fighting action. Okay, so these two you can do, either you can fight with the tiger or you can run away from the tiger, like you have to escape in such a way that so you are surviving. So that is the one. So energy requirement is there. So now when the stimulus is there, so this brain is going to activate the hormones also there. Okay, so now because of the hormonal actions that are happening, or the nerval acting, so these are gonna work together, and the hormone is secreted, that is adrenaline is secreted for fight or for flight. So this is completely left to you, whether you are going to fight or whether you are going to run away. So you will have to decide it on a spot. Then adrenaline is going to make sure that more amount of energy is supplied to you. Okay, so lots of energy which is stored. So there is a glucose which can be broken down. So let's say there is glucose not available, protein which can be broken down. So protein is converted into glucose and then formation of energy can occur. Or you have stored fat, so that stored fat can also be converted into glucose and then energy formation can be done. So adrenaline will make sure that for fight and flight, for all these actions, your body is getting enough amount of energy or enough amount of all the necessary conditions to perform this action. Okay, so that is extra energy and strength is provided. So why extra energy and strength is provided? Because this is just an example that I have taken with respect to tiger. Any cases where you are high on adrenaline, so you might have heard on like RJs, VJs, so they'll keep saying I'm high on adrenaline today because there is an adrenaline rush, I have a huge amount of energy today. So all this is mainly because of the adrenaline hormone which is released by the medulla region of the, that is adrenal medulla of the adrenal gland. So this will prepare your body for the fight or a flight here. So in this case now, so extra hormone is released into the blood at the time. So one second, I'm not able, yeah, here it is. Okay, so hormones are released. So hormones keeps on producing here, so that is blood at the time of a emotional stress also. So in case of a emotional stress, or let's say when excited or when you are angry, so adrenals produce a lot of adrenaline. So when you are aggressive, when you are angry, when you are excited, so any of these cases your body requires lot of energy, so you are losing a lot amount of energy. So that is basically you are performing lot of actions. So we will see those actions actually, so you will understand. So for any of these actions which are performed by our body, so there is actually lot of energy that is required. So it is all the functions which are occurring, so these are not free of cost. Okay, so always a energy currency. Okay, so energy currency is ATP, so ATP is always required. So we are spending a lot of energy, we are spending a lot of currency here, that is to make our body aggressive or maybe excited, or for running or for fighting also with a tiger or anything that you are going to face in. So for all this, the facing action has to be done and your body has to prepare for this. So the gland itself is stimulated by the nerve endings of the autonomic nervous system. So there is a autonomic nervous system. So when you study about the peripheral nervous system in your nervous system chapter, okay, so there is peripheral nervous system which is being divided into autonomic nervous system, somatic nervous system. So in autonomic, so you will study that about, so I'll just explain. Okay, so there is a sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so under autonomic nervous system, okay, so this is under autonomic nervous system. So we have a sympathetic nervous system and then there is parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so these two are there. So this is parasympathetic. Okay, so these two are the nervous system what we will find. Okay, so this sympathetic nervous system will prepare your body for the action. Okay, so now you are going to get aggressive, you are going to get excited, or you are going to run away, you are going to fight off. So any of these actions that you are going to perform, so this is mainly because of the sympathetic nervous system working with the endocrine system. Okay, so endocrine system is also required. So what is released here? So stimulus here can be the adrenaline or epinephrine or noradrenaline, what we call. So these are the terms which are actually used for adrenaline. Okay, so these are going to work and action is performed. Now when we mention about a parasympathetic system, so this is after all the action. So we cannot be angry always, right? So we cannot be excited always. So we need to get back to normal condition. So that is bringing back to the normal condition. Okay, so that is done by the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so this is the parasympathetic nervous system which is gonna bring you back to the normal system, I mean a normal working. So here the sympathetic nervous system along with the endocrine system, so this will make your body for the action. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So moving on to the next part now. Just a second, let me just check this. Okay, so now functions of adrenaline when we mention. Okay, so this is with respect to functions that are performed by the emergency hormone. Okay, so we call this adrenaline as an emergency hormone. Yes, anybody, why do we call this adrenaline as a emergency hormone? Any idea on this one? Okay, so this is gonna increase the heartbeat. Why do we call it as an emergency hormone is that, so let's say now you are in a normal condition, like you have taken your food and other things regularly. Just a second. Okay, so now you have taken your other conditions, like food you have taken and other things normally anyway, this is all happening. Okay, but now when we mention your body requires a large amount of energy. Okay, so suddenly you face a snake or suddenly you get angry on someone, so your blood is gonna boil, right? So that is basically you are getting angry on someone. So for all this energy requirement is more, so to get aggressive or to form something like that, so basically your body requires a lot of energy. So we are spending a energy there to get this action performed. Okay, so what we are sending, so it is again not a free. So now in increase of a heartbeat, okay, so heart has to beat continuously. Now muscle contraction is occurring, muscle relaxation, contraction, that we call as a systole and diastole occurs here. So when systole and diastole occurs, so there is ATP required. So again energy is gonna be required. So increase in heartbeat, energy required. So this is accompanied by an increase in the blood pressure, because if the pumping action is more, the blood pressure is also automatically going to increase. Then increase the blood supply to the muscle. So why there is an increase of blood supply to the muscle? Muscles, so these are the muscles which have to perform the action. Okay, so always a response or a action is performed by the muscle set. So basically movement is gonna occur. So you are running or you are fighting, so you are going to use all the muscles in your body. So basically again for muscle movement a lot of energy is required, so energy is being spent there. Okay, so while decreasing it to the skin and then the visceral organs, so different organs, so blood supply to some extent is going to be reduced, that is like skin or the different organs where it is at present, where it is not necessary, but more of a necessary of blood supply is there for the muscle because it has to perform a action. Okay, so movement has to occur, and the muscles are there for the movement itself, so that is why increased blood supply will be done. So why exactly increased blood supply is done? Because this is going to supply a nutrient, the blood is going to supply a nutrient and also the oxygen. So with this energy formation can be done, that is glucose is going to get oxidized and ATP is being generated, and this ATP is spent for the action. So now more glucose is released. So this is again a function of this emergency hormone. So this I already mentioned. So as the glucose is required, so cellular respiration process will happen here. Okay, so that means the glucose will get oxidized and energy synthesis will be done. So more glucose is released into the blood by the liver. Liver will have the glucose stored in the form of a glycogen, because glycogen, when we mention many units of glucose will form a glycogen. Okay, so there are many units of this glucose. Okay, so many units of glucose are going to form a glycogen there. Now the glucose supply has to be done, that means all these bonds which are there, so these needs to be broken and a glucose supply has to be done into the blood. So each of this glucose is going to enter the blood, and then it is sent to the muscle, so muscle can perform this action, that is by creating a energy. Okay, so here like putting more fuel into the engine. So final dash to win a race is under the influence of adrenaline. So only after adrenaline is released, so increase in heartbeat we can say. As the increase in heartbeat occurs, so blood supply will be more, so glucose is going to be also released because glycogen which is stored, so that is going to be broken down where the glucose is released and this is reaching the blood vessel. I hope it is clear. So moving on to the actions that are performed by the adrenaline. So let's have a look at this one. Just a second. So body parts. Okay, so what all parts are undergoing a change here? So there is a body part, effects of this adrenaline, the biological advantage or the effect or the sensation. Okay, so here this is gonna be ready for the immediate action. So tense feeling, shivering, all this could be the reason. Now the next one is liver. Okay, so here in case of a liver, just a second. Okay, so in case of a liver, the conversion of glycogen to glucose is required, as the glucose is required by the body. So glucose available in the blood, so that is there mainly for the energy production. Okay, so energy production we can see, so that is with respect to glucose which is available in the blood. Okay, then other than that, the fat deposit, so this is again conversion of fat into fatty acid. So fatty acids is available in the blood, again this is there for the muscle contraction. So all these are the effects of adrenaline. So when adrenaline is released, so it will have effect on all of these organs. So these are the target organs, so lot of changes are gonna occur. So in addition, adrenaline also will have a clotting capacity of a blood, so it will increase the clotting capacity, dilates the pupil of the eye. So since you are going to perform actions like running, fighting, so you need to have a proper, like enough amount of light has to be there so that you can see the things clearly. Okay, so only if you are seeing things clearly, then only you can run, then only you can fight, or then only you can fight also with others. So in any of these cases, so more light is required, more light has to pass through the object so that you can clearly see the things. So dilation of the pupil will allow more light to enter your eye so that you can clearly see an object which is there. Okay, so stimulates the uterine contraction during the labor. So this is also occurring. This is with respect to delivery of a baby. So adrenal gland is going to release a hormone, and because of that the labor will also initiate. So stimulate the uterine contraction. So stimulate the muscles of the hair follicle. Okay, so muscles of the hair follicles are also getting stimulated. So these functions are in general as those of the sympathetic autonomic nervous system. So you have studied about the nervous system. So there you see the sympathetic nervous system will say about bringing your bringing your body for the action. So that is performed by the sympathetic action, sympathetic nervous system. So all these functions which are mentioned, so these are the similar ones which are mentioned for the sympathetic nervous system. For sympathetic nervous system to work, the adrenaline is required. So they are going to work together here. Okay, so it is like a stimulus they can act. So this is a neuroendocrine mechanism. Okay, so both of them will work together and a lot of changes are brought back. So adrenal cortex, when we mention, so this secretes many hormones. So there are many hormones that are being secreted, but the best known hormone is the cortisone, which will suppress the inflammation. So till now what we studied, so that was for a medulla region, okay, of the adrenal gland. Okay, so it was responsible for secretion of a adrenaline. Okay, and the now one which we are studying, so that is gonna be of cortex region. So in cortex region, what are the differences, the hormones which are produced and what they are having a role. So let's have a look here. So secretes many hormones. So this is going to secrete many of the hormone, but the best known hormone is the cortisone, which is going to suppress the inflammation. So we will see this one. So cortisone, what exactly is the main function here. So now the cortical hormones are categorized as mineralocorticoids and glucocorticoids. So we have classified them into two. Okay, one second. Just a second. Okay, so here mineralocorticoid, when we mention, so mineralocorticoids, so these will regulate the mineral metabolism. Okay, so mineral metabolism is basically we have different minerals, right? So there is a sodium, there is a potassium, there is a phosphorus, there is a calcium. So all these need to be processed in a manner that these are used by our body whenever they are required. So if these minerals are not not used properly in a proper way, so without the hormones, so if hormones are not there, the minerals are not going to be used. So that is why mineralocorticoids are the hormones. So these are going to regulate the mineral metabolism, so that when we consume these minerals, so these are going to be used up. Okay, and if certain minerals are not available in our body, so there are a lot of adverse effects that are gonna occur. Okay, so that is why one needs to make sure that the mineralocorticoids are anyway being produced and they are going to regulate the metabolism, that is mineral metabolism. Then there is glucocorticoid. So this will regulate the carbohydrate, the food, protein, and then the fat metabolism. So these are basically different glucose units are going to form a carbohydrate, amino acid units are going to form the protein, and fats, when we mention, so it is a fatty acid along with the glycerol. So this is going to form the fat. So now we need to, there is, when we mention about the metabolism, so there are constructive reaction where the carbohydrate is constructed, or there is a destructive reaction where the carbohydrate is broken down into glucose. So this can be in this way or this this way. So basically many glucoses can join together, construction of a carbohydrate is occurring, many amino acids are joining together and construction of a protein is occurring, many of the fatty acids and glycerols are joined together, construction of a fatty acid is occurring. So that we call as a constructive reaction or a anabolism. Okay, so same way there is a catabolism also. So just now we saw in case of liver, so all the glucose units, what are there? I'll just write it here. Okay, so excess amount of glucose units, what are there? So these are all joined together and we are going to form a glycogen. Okay, so this glycogen which is formed here, so this will be stored in the liver. So this is a constructive reaction. Okay, so this is a metabolism. So in metabolism we have two types, anabolism and catabolism is there. So constructive reaction we can call it as a anabolism. Okay, now you know that whenever energy supply is required, so this glycogen has to be broken down. So this glycogen will be broken down where we are going to get each and every units of this glucose. So many units of glucose are formed here. So now what is happening here? Destruction is occurring. Okay, so destructive reaction is occurring. So that means a catabolism is occurring. So this is a metabolism when we mention. So metabolism will include catabolism and anabolism. Okay, so there is anabolism which is a construction. Okay, so then there is a catabolism which is basically a destruction. So these are happening with respect to proteins also, fats also. Protein, in case of protein it is a amino acid, in case of a fats it is a fatty acid and a glycerol. So all these are going to have a main role with respect to metabolism. That means metabolism, two steps are there, catabolism and anabolism. Okay, so these in general when we mention the cortical hormones, so these will increase the blood sugar concentration. Okay, as the destruction is occurring there, so glycogen is going to be broken down and glucose formation will occur. So increase fat and protein metabolism. That means fat is either being formed or fat is either being broken down. Protein is either being formed or protein is either being broken down, because metabolism when we mention it can include any of this. So depending on the requirement, either the anabolism can occur or the catabolism can occur. Okay, so now regulate the salt and water balance. So whenever a mineral, so since the mineral balance is also required, so okay, so salt and water balance is also maintained here. Adapt the body to the stresses, so different stresses such as extreme heat or cold or burn or infection. So any of these changes are occurring, so your body, that is with the help of glucocorticoids, so it will make sure that it is adjusting to this condition. So let's say if it is cold, okay, so heat has to be generated there. Okay, so if the heat has to be generated, what will happen? Again the cellular respiration, that means glucose is gonna get oxidized, and there is water, there is a carbon dioxide that is generated, heat is generated, that is basically energy. So basically here I'll explain that. Okay, so what happens, usually heat is generated. Okay, so after the glucose is combining with the oxygen, so there is carbon dioxide, there is water, and then a heat. Okay, so this heat energy, what is there? So heat energy is converted into chemical energy. Okay, so chemical energy, so that we call as the ATP synthesis will occur. So let's say now this heat energy, so this is not converted into chemical energy because our body requires a heat itself, because the condition here is the surrounding condition is cold, so there is heat which is required. So this heat will be used up, so when the oxidation of a glucose occurs. So reverse can happen with respect to other condition. So basically our body is going to adapt to that particular condition. So certain cortical hormones, they behave like a sex hormones. Okay, so they are both male as well as a female hormones in both the sexes. Okay, So now here we have the cortical hormones. So there are sex hormones. So male is also there, a female type of a hormone is there, or that is in case of both the sexes. So an overgrowth of a cortex in young children, so this will lead to premature sexual maturity. Okay, so if there is too much of this hormone produced, okay, so what is going to happen? So even though they are younger children itself, okay, so young children itself, it will lead to premature sexual maturity. That means so they will get matured. So there is basically they'll get matured on a thinking basis, or we can say physically also. So physical appearance is gonna change. There might be certain body changes which can occur in males as well as female. So all this can be achieved earlier. So if there is more or overgrowth of the cortex is occurring. Okay, so women with the beard, so this is an example, women with a beard and men with a breast. So this reverse can also occur. So if there is an overgrowth of the adrenal cortex in a mature woman, okay, so this is in case of a mature woman, so she is going to develop the male characteristics, so such as a beard development can be there, a mustache development, or a deep male voice can also be there. Now the condition is known as the adrenal virilism. So this one is important. Okay, so lot of board paper have asked this question, so do remember this one. So what is adrenal virilism? So you need to remember this one. So whenever adrenal cortex is overgrowing, okay, so that is in case of a mature woman itself, so this mature woman is going to develop a deep male voice, a beard development, a mustache development. So this is all happening in her. Okay, so if the overgrowth occurs in a men, so what will happen? So they will develop a feminine characteristics such as enlargement of the breast, we can see in case of a male. Okay, so that is because of the overgrowth of this particular adrenal cortex. Okay, so now we will see the secretion with respect to the hormone secretion from the adrenal gland. So if there is hyposecretion, that is hypo is less. Okay, so if there is hyposecretion, or if there is hyper secretion, more secretion, so what would be the cases? So in case of a hyposecretion from the adrenal cortex, so this is going to cause the Addison's disease. Okay, so symptoms is basically because very less amount of these hormones are being released, so it can lead to loss of energy, because if the hormone itself is not released, energy is very less there. So loss of energy, skin pigmentation we can find, loss of weight, because energy is not there, then the proteins are converted, glucose is converted, then fats are converted into ATP there. So basically an individual is going to lose lot of weight. So nausea, hypoglycemia. Okay, so hypoglycemia is lesser blood sugar level, because sugar supply is not done, as secretion is not occurring properly, so there is no blood pumping which is done. So if there is no blood pumping, there is no sugar secretion or a sugar production, so that will lead to low blood sugar. So sensitivity to cold and pain, increased susceptibility to infection. So all this could be the symptoms of Addison's disease, and it is a less secretion. Okay, hypo. Then in case of a hyper secretion, so if there is more amount of this particular hormone, so it can be the adrenaline, or it can be with respect to the glucocorticoid, mineralocorticoid. So all these changes we can see that. So here the hyposecretion of adrenal cortex, when we mention, so this is gonna form the cause the Cushing syndrome. Okay, so symptoms are, so since there is more amount of energy that is being released, so your body is not going to use all the stored fat or all the stored protein or a glucose which is there, because there is already enough amount of energy is being supplied. So all this stored thing will remain there itself, and that is how one would get obese. Okay, so obesity, hyperglycemia, that is higher blood pressure is there. Okay, osteoporosis, that is a weakness with respect to the bone, the weakness. Okay, so salt and water retention, so your body body is going to retain lot of water and a salt which will be there in the body. So this is all done because of the hypersecretion. As you know, more of a energy is being produced by the adrenaline itself. So let's see some questions. I hope it is clear for you all. Okay, so let's have a look now. So mineralocorticoids. Okay, so mineralocorticoids, so they regulate minerals, proteins, carbohydrates. None? Yes, anybody? So I can't see the chat here, so this chat option is not available, but anyway, so I'll just continue. So this one is minerals. You know, mineralocorticoids will have a role with respect to mineral metabolism. Hyposecretion of the adrenal cortex. So this one is with respect to adrenal cortex itself. So we were discussing about the adrenal cortex here, right? So hyposecretion and hypersecretion. So this is with respect to the adrenal cortex, or you know, the adrenaline hormone also is going to cause the same effect, because there are oxygen, I mean, you know, the nutrient supply is also done there. Okay, so this is with respect to hyposecretion. And the Cushing syndrome, Addison's disease, goiter, and all of the above is given. Yes, anybody? Okay, so this one is Addison's disease. Okay, so Addison's disease for hyposecretion. Hypersecretion, it is Cushing's syndrome. Okay, so before I end the class, so we are completed with the the adrenal gland. Okay, so next class I think I'll be conducting on a different topic. Okay, so you all, what you can do is related one. So next class, that is tomorrow at 5:15 p.m. Okay, so that is on Unacademy platform. Okay, so I'll be talking on pituitary glands. Okay, so this is tomorrow, like what is the date tomorrow? So today is 15, no? So 16th I'll be talking on the pituitary gland. Okay, so you all can join me there on Unacademy app. All right, so there I'll be discussing this one at 5:15 p.m. so it will be a 1 hour session. So there also you have an option of chat, and you know, polls I'll be giving, and you know, we will be discussing about the question and answers also. I'll be marking the important question. So these sessions are going to help you crack your final exam, so do take up this one. Okay, so now we have a ongoing batches here. So this has already started. Okay, so you know, you can watch the recordings here. Okay, so for both of these batches, the classes which are already done, so you can watch the recordings. So Udan batch, the mode of delivery is Hindi, and Champions batch, the mode of delivery is English here. Okay, so here in the other case also, one second. Okay, so then you know, we have started with the exams preparation for you all, that is with the sample paper. So this is an Unacademy sample paper. So all the subjects are being discussed. So now at 6:30 right away. Okay, so after this session, so I am conducting a SQP, that is specimen question paper, on this particular biology subject. So that is from the Unacademy. So we will be discussing. So all you need to do is download the Unacademy Learners app and do attend the session there as well. So we have also started conducting one shot revision. So there is a poll war that we are conducting. So it is basically a quiz itself for all these classes. So you can take up those sessions also. I am conducting it on biology again. Okay, so other than that, you know, you can download the Unacademy app now and try all for free, because till now what I explained, so those were there for the free one. The plus one I already mentioned. Okay, so how you can watch my special classes? All you need to do is download the Unacademy Learner app, click on get started, then you can enter your mobile number and a OTP. Okay, then you can enter your name, and you can enter your email ID and your address, your state. Then you can choose class 6 to 12, because competitive exam is also available. So you can choose this one. Then you know, you can choose the ICSE category there. Okay, then you can choose the language of your preference. Then you know, to unlock the special courses that are there, so you can use the code VANI YT to unlock. And if you are planning to take a plus subscription, so with this particular code, that is Vani YT, you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. And you know that we have as of now discount which is there. And other than that, you know, we have, let's say you are taking a subscription for more than 12 months or about 12 months, so you will be getting extra 2-month subscription, that is 14-month subscription you are getting if you are going for a 12-month subscription. So you can do that as well. Okay, so this is the referral code which is going to help you get the discount, and also there is a offer which is available, or this code you can use for unlocking the products, that is free products which are there on a Unacademy platform. Okay, so you can also subscribe to us on